Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
In 1995, Scott Hall was at the peak of his wrestling career as Razor Ramon, a charismatic WWE superstar. Just 1 year later, his life took a dramatic turn. Hall's arrest for groping a woman outside a hotel marked the beginning of a tumultuous period filled with legal troubles and personal struggles. This incident was far from the end of Hall's story. Despite facing multiple arrests, rehab stints, and near-death experiences, the former champion found a way to fight back. His journey from the heights of stardom through the depths of addiction and ultimately to redemption as a mentor for young wrestlers is a testament to human resilience. This is that story. In the gritty world of professional wrestling, creating a memorable persona is everything. For Scott Hall, that moment of transformation came in 1992 when he stepped into the WWF ring as Razor Ramon, but the journey to becoming the bad guy wasn't an overnight success story. Hall had been wrestling for years, bouncing between promotions and struggling to find his breakthrough. He'd had stints in the AWA and WCW, but nothing seemed to stick. The pressure was mounting. In an industry where larger-than-life characters reigned supreme, Hall knew he needed something special to stand out. Inspiration struck from an unlikely source: the 1983 crime film Scarface. Hall saw in Al Pacino's Tony Montana the seeds of a character that could captivate audiences. He began to craft Razor Ramon, a cocky Cuban-American bad boy from Miami. The toothpick, the gold chains, the slicked back hair, every detail was meticulously chosen to bring this persona to life. When Razor Ramon made his WWF debut, the impact was immediate. Fans were drawn to his charisma, his swagger, and his catchphrase, "Say hello to the bad guy." Hall had tapped into something primal, a character that people loved to hate but couldn't help but be fascinated by. The WWF quickly recognized the star power they had on their hands. Razor Ramon was thrust into high-profile feuds and storylines. His latter match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania X is still talked about as one of the greatest matches in wrestling history. Hall's in-ring skills, combined with the magnetic Razor Ramon character, propelled him to multiple Intercontinental Championship reigns. But as Hall donned the Razor Ramon persona like armor, it began to both protect and constrain him. The demands of maintaining this larger-than-life character 24/7 took their toll. Hall found himself living two lives: the confident, unflappable Razor Ramon in front of the cameras, and an increasingly troubled Scott Hall behind the scenes. The constant travel, physical toll of matches, and pressure to always be on created a perfect storm. Hall began to rely on alcohol and drugs to cope with pain and stress, early warning signs of future struggles. In these early days of stardom, such issues were often hidden from public view. The wrestling industry of the 90s prioritized performance over personal well-being. As Razor Ramon's star continued to rise, the gap between character and man widened. Hall's natural charisma and in-ring talent were undeniable, but the effort required to maintain the illusion of invincibility became unsustainable. The creation of Razor Ramon had launched Scott Hall into wrestling superstardom, fulfilling his dreams of success in the industry, but it had also set the stage for a personal struggle that would play out over the coming years. The very character that made him famous would become both his greatest asset and his heaviest burden. The NWO, consisting of Hall, Kevin Nash, and later Hulk Hogan, revolutionized the wrestling industry. Their invasion angle blurred the lines between scripted entertainment and reality, captivating audiences and propelling WCW to new heights. Hall's portrayal of an outsider threatening to take over WCW resonated with fans who were drawn to his rebellious charisma and sharp wit on the microphone. The NWO's impact extended far beyond the wrestling ring. Their iconic black and white logo became ubiquitous, adorning merchandise across the country. Hall's "Hey Yo" catchphrase entered the cultural lexicon, repeated by fans in arenas and schoolyards alike. The group's success even caught the attention of mainstream media, with appearances on talk shows and mentions in popular culture. Hall's contributions to the NWO were significant. His quick-witted promos and cool demeanor helped establish the group's anti-establishment attitude. In the ring, Hall's technical skills and ring psychology elevated matches, making every NWO appearance must-see TV. He played a crucial role in some of the era's most memorable moments, including the formation of the NWO and the infamous Finger Poke of Doom incident. During this period, Hall experienced a level of fame and success he had never known before. In a rare moment of candor, he once reflected, "It was like being shot out of a cannon. Suddenly we were everywhere, and everyone wanted a piece of us. It was exhilarating, but also terrifying. I didn't know how to handle it all." The demands of being part of wrestling's hottest act were relentless. Hall found himself constantly in the spotlight, expected to maintain his edgy persona both in and out of the ring. The line between Scott Hall the person and his on-screen character began to blur, creating a confusing mix of reality and performance. As the NWO's popularity soared, so did the expectations placed on its members. Hall was required to be present for more shows, media appearances, and fan events than ever before. The grueling schedule, combined with the physical toll of performing night after night, began to wear on him. WCW's backstage environment did little to help matters. The company, focused on ratings and financial success, often prioritized the show over the well-being of its performers. There were few support systems in place for wrestlers struggling with personal issues, and the party atmosphere backstage only exacerbated existing problems. The NWO's success had a profound impact on the wrestling industry, sparking a new era of edgier content and influencing storylines for years to come. Hall's work with the group cemented his legacy as one of the most influential performers of his generation. However, as the initial excitement began to wane, WCW struggled to recapture the magic of those early days, leading to convoluted storylines and a dilution of what had made the group special. The NWO, consisting of Hall, Kevin Nash, and later Hulk Hogan, revolutionized the industry. Their invasion angle blurred the lines between scripted entertainment and reality, captivating audiences and propelling WCW to new heights. Hall's portrayal of an outsider threatening to take over WCW resonated with fans, who were drawn to his rebellious charisma and sharp wit on the microphone. However, as Hall's professional success peaked, his personal life began to unravel. The demands of being part of wrestling's hottest act were relentless. Hall found himself constantly in the spotlight, expected to maintain his edgy persona both in and out of the ring. The grueling schedule, combined with the physical toll of performing night after night, began to wear on him. To cope with the pain and stress, Hall increasingly turned to alcohol and drugs. His behavior became increasingly erratic, leading to a series of public incidents. There were missed appearances, instances of showing up to events intoxicated, and public incidents that tarnished his reputation. Yet, because of his star power and the NWO's continued success, these issues were often swept under the rug or treated as part of his bad boy image. WCW's backstage environment did little to help matters. The company focused on ratings, often prioritized the show over the well-being of its performers. There were few support systems in place for wrestlers struggling with personal issues, and the party atmosphere backstage only exacerbated existing problems. The toll on Hall's personal life was significant. His marriage fell apart, and he found himself estranged from his children. The very success he had worked so hard to achieve was now threatening to destroy everything he held dear. As WCW's fortunes began to wane in the late 90s, Hall's struggles became more apparent. The company's attempts to recreate the NWO's early success led to convoluted storylines and a dilution of what had made the group special. Hall, still battling his personal demons, found it increasingly difficult to keep up with the demands of his role. In a cruel irony, the character traits that had made Hall so compelling as a performer, his intensity, his unpredictability, his willingness to push boundaries, were now manifesting in self-destructive ways off-screen. The line between performance and reality had become so blurred that Hall struggled to find his true self amid the chaos. Scott Hall's journey back from the brink of self-destruction began with an unlikely alliance. In 2011, as Hall lay in a hospital bed, his body ravaged by years of substance abuse, Diamond Dallas Page, a fellow wrestler turned yoga instructor, appeared at his door. Page extended a lifeline when the wrestling world had all but given up on Hall. Page's intervention marked the beginning of a grueling recovery process. Hall moved into Page's accountability crib in Atlanta, a sober living environment for former wrestlers. He embraced DDP Yoga, a program combining traditional yoga with strength training and physical therapy. The routine helped Hall regain physical strength, but the mental battle proved far more daunting. Years of substance abuse had strained Hall's relationships, particularly with his son Cody. Regular therapy sessions and family counseling became integral parts of his recovery journey. Despite his commitment, Hall experienced several relapses. Each setback tested his resolve and the support of those around him. As news of Hall's recovery efforts spread, the wrestling community rallied around him. Former colleagues offered support, while some shared their own struggles with addiction. This outpouring provided Hall with motivation to continue his fight. In 2014, Hall was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Standing on stage, visibly healthier, he delivered an emotional speech that resonated with fans and fellow wrestlers. "Bad times don't last," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "but bad guys do." Hall continued to work on his sobriety, understanding that recovery is a lifelong process. He began speaking openly about his struggles with mental health and addiction, using his platform to raise awareness and break down stigmas. As Hall rediscovered his strength, he started mentoring younger wrestlers, sharing his experiences and offering guidance on navigating industry pressures. This role allowed him to channel his passion for wrestling positively while maintaining focus on recovery. Hall's journey sparked conversations within the wrestling industry about the need for better support systems. Major promotions began implementing more comprehensive health programs and substance abuse policies, aiming to prevent other performers from following a similar path. Hall's recovery story serves as a powerful testament to the human capacity for change and resilience. From the heights of wrestling stardom to the depths of addiction, and back to a place of purpose and stability, his journey resonates far beyond the wrestling ring, inspiring others to seek help and embrace the possibility of transformation. Scott Hall's journey from addiction to recovery has reshaped mental health discussions in wrestling, inspiring others to confront their struggles. His openness has broken down hyper-masculine stereotypes, fostering honest conversations about addiction in the industry. Hall's legacy extends beyond his in-ring persona, emphasizing authenticity and resilience. His story reminds us that strength lies in acknowledging weaknesses and seeking help. Recovery is a daily battle, but it's worth fighting, Hall once said. His journey continues to offer hope and inspire wrestlers to prioritize well-being. If you're struggling, remember Scott's words. The first step is asking for help. Where can you find support in your life?